balance.
Yeah, it's a juggling act. I mean, not to get too far off off topic, but I mean, look at the guys that are up now. I mean, Baron Corbin. I mean, obviously Shin's up. It's a weird juggling act, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do going forward because I do want to see Bobby Roode on the main roster soon because I think Hideo is going to be the future NXT champion. He's due. So I mean, I'm curious to see there. Now, speaking of an NXT call up, what do you think of Elias Sampson so far? I mean, he's had those little drifter moments where he's like they have like Kurt Angle talking to a superstar, and he comes in the background and starts playing, and then Kurt kind of looks at him, and he just kind of keeps playing around. I mean, he had a good match against the Jobber, but he looks good. He didn't really do much in NXT, but he looks the part. His gimmick is something you can buy into. I mean, where do you stand on Elias Sampson? I know he's very fresh, but where do you stand on him?
I need to see a little bit more, but so far so good. I would probably say
he's got. I mean, I like his finishing maneuver. I think it's like a swinging neck breaker. I think it is. It's a swinging neck breaker. It's a good maneuver. I think he has. I don't think he had enough in NXT. I think he has almost a similar thing as the Perfect 10, where he didn't do really. I mean, he had good matches, but like down in NXT, they didn't give him a big push. So I'm glad. I was curious to see why they're bringing him up, but I mean, he's clearly. I think he's a main roster talent. I mean, it's good filler. Let me ask you this, and I mean, I'm pretty excited for this Alexa Bliss Bayley thing. Where do you stand on this? I mean,
their match this Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I'll honestly say this: if it wasn't for Alexa Bliss, that whole segment with Mrs. Flapper and her best friend and her ex-boyfriend, like that whole segment was really stale and boring. I really wanted to fall asleep to. But at least Alexa Bliss, when she, I mean the actors, because they're not. I mean, those aren't really her fourth grade teacher and all that. We know that. But Alexa Bliss saved that segment from falling completely flat because she did play it pretty well. I mean, I'm excited for that match. I think the build's pretty good on that. We'll get into the Extreme Rules card a little bit later, but overall, I thought Raw was kind of eh. I mean,
the segments I'm enjoying on Raw, Goldust. I guess that's probably the highlight for me on Monday Night Raw.
I mean, here's what I have to say about that. The Golden Truths breakup. So you got R-Truth and Goldust doing their thing. I'm excited for that. I mean, it's something maybe to rejuvenate both guys because they're both kind of just sitting there stagnant they've been sitting stagnant for the longest time. I think it's cool to see them. I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. I mean, we all know that Goldust can wrestle, and I mean, R-Truth can too. So it's going to be interesting to see where things kind of go from here. But I will say I totally agree with you. I'm actually. I mean, maybe you might disagree with me. I'm more excited for this than maybe the potential Enzo and Cass thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Here's my thing. I mean, we talk about big guy, little guy in matches all the time. In reality, I always call it a soap opera for guys. It's sports entertainment. It's scripted. But how you can't really sell to me and be believed where Enzo's gonna beat Big Cass. I don't buy that. If that were the case, I mean, I know we're really putting the cart before the horse, but I can't buy into that. And I mean, Big Cass whooping Enzo, okay. I think we can put that together pretty easily. But with R-Truth and Goldust, that's one of those matches where you don't know who's going to win. I mean, either one of those guys could honestly win, and I'm like, okay, I can buy that. If it's me, I'm going Goldust, but
Goldust feels like he's going a lot the way, maybe even worse than the Big Show, in the sense that he's like his career is just kind of fading to when it's over. You're gonna, it's not gonna end like a John Cena, like a Rock, like a that's it. It's gonna end like so it's over now. So he's done.
Oh wait! It's like he's gone. I didn't even. Oh, he's been gone.
I know he's been gone for a couple months, but like
okay, cool.
He's not coming back.
Oh, okay. All right. Next, here. Speaking of John Cena, you saw that tweet, right? July 4th.
July the 4th. We'll talk about that in a little bit, as well as a lot of other stuff. We've got a lot to get to on today's show, so we are going to take our first break. But when we return, we've got this week's Twitter question of the week and much more, as it's Brandon Icebreaker Clements and just Jared Wicks in the studio. This is a Heel to the Face podcast on Sports War Radio, Rat Pack Radio, and now on iTunes.
The New York Jets are rising and are ready to compete in the AFC. Boyd Green and Ty Butler will give you everything you need to know about the Jets every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. From reviewing the previous game and looking ahead to the next matchup, to all of the news and 4 downs, the Jet Zone has everything. Follow @BoyGreen25 and @TyDButler on Twitter. Proud member of Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
This program is simulcast on WRPR Rat Pack Radio. Go to ratpacksports.com for more information.
Do you want to stay up to date on the latest sports news? Come check out After the Whistle from 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday night. We talk about the NHL, we talk about the NFL, we talk about the MLB, you name it, we got it. Tune in on Sports War Radio.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
Let's get back to the action. This is the Heel to the Face podcast on Sports War Radio.
Well, it's time for the 3 count, but this week it's going to be a different kind of 3 count. Instead of 3 questions of the week, it's more like 3 segments. But we still do have a question in there, and it is our Twitter question of the week, and we've gotten some mixed responses. Definitely one of the most interesting response questions we've put out there, as Brandon before the break was talking about. John Cena sent out the tweet, and on July the 4th, 2017, about a month and 5 days from now, John Cena will be making his WWE return. That is a Tuesday, so it will be on SmackDown. And the question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad does the WWE need John Cena? And the winning response was 0 to 2 at 38%. And the middle responses, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, are both 25%. Only 13% of our voters felt that they really needed John Cena. See, and that we just talked in the first segment about how boring and how kind of mundane wrestling's going to get, or it's getting. And then people are saying, no, we don't need John Cena. We're doing good.
I answered 3 to 5. It's not like a dire need where, we need you back because, because if you put 0 to 2, it's called panic mode in my book. So 3 to 5, it's
I mean, he's not like WrestleMania without The Undertaker, but with Bam Bam Bigelow as your main event.
Yeah, it's not, I mean,
it's not that bad.
It's not awful, but especially with this Jinder Mahal, title reign, I mean, I want to see John Cena and Jinder Mahal go at it, man. I really do. I mean, it's going to be, that's why I put it 3 to 5. I mean, if Jinder Mahal wasn't champion, it was, if it was Randy Orton still, I'd probably put it 0 to, I'd probably, I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not too, I think it's more, I'm more in the panic mode, I guess, to a point, because I want to see him and Jinder. It's not more, I'm not worried about the product itself as much. I think the product's okay. I mean, it is a little stale, but you also got to remember, WrestleMania to SummerSlam is kind of I mean, you get that last month before SummerSlam, then you're really kicking things in high gear, but you're kind of in that lull period, so it's not really, There's not really crazy things going on.
I did the not the 9 to 10, but definitely I feel it's like a 7 or an 8. You know, it's not that it. You know, it's not his wrestling. Definitely not his wrestling. But it's kind of, and it's not even like so much his star power. It's a lot of just kind of giving wrestling legitimacy. I guess that's the big, you know, it sounds weird because, you know, it's not, nobody ever commends John Cena on being the best wrestler in the world. But when John Cena's name's on something, you get a little more excited. You get a little more amped up, especially if you're going to a wrestling event. You know, John Cena's like The Rock to me. When I was a child and I went to Monday Night Raw, I was not a Rock fan. I was a Kurt Angle fan. I was a heel fan. He was a favorite. But when The Rock's music hit, you're like, oh, this is different. This is what made me feel I wasn't at an independent wrestling promotion. Mm-hmm. This is what made me remind myself that I was at a big time event and that WWE was in my town. So I feel John Cena does that. I feel John Cena gives it that, you know, even if he's not even on the card at SummerSlam, you want to put him on the poster to kind of remind yourself SummerSlam's the WrestleMania of the summer. It's not the WrestleMania of the summer without John Cena. And, you know, to be honest, I feel John Cena's coming back earlier than I thought. I didn't know when John Cena was coming back.
No one really knew, I don't think.
You know, but I felt it was going to be a while. You know, I knew he was taping a movie, a show, and obviously the upcoming wedding, if you will, with Nikki. I don't know when that is supposed to be taking place.
I'm sure that'll be. I'm sure we'll hear a ton about it.
I just know when I heard that he was coming back, I got excited. It gave you that like little kick, that little wrestling's been pretty mundane lately. Wrestling's been pretty boring. And then you get that John Cena, and then it kind of like turns that switch on. Because to be honest with you, I've been watching wrestling the last few weeks in like a haze and like just staring at it, just absorbing it. But like, it's just like, what am I watching? You know, I'm not really smiling when I see a lot of stuff. But then that John Cena kick, it kind of reminds me of WrestleMania, and WrestleMania reminds me of why I liked wrestling. And you start, then all of a sudden John Cena, WrestleMania.
We're getting there.
Big Royal Rumble, like gotcha wrestling. Now I like this. This is the thing I like.
The more I think about it, to kind of rephrase it a little bit, I think, the reason why I do put the 3 to 5 is like I said, it's a Jinder Mahal thing. If it wasn't Jinder Mahal, I would keep it at 0 to 2 because I don't think we really need him. We can wait. We can wait until SummerSlam or have him come back right before SummerSlam. That's the way I look at it. It's cool that he's coming back, but like you said, it's not like he's all about the rest. It's not. We're not asking him to be the AJ Styles where he puts on the greatest wrestling, performances. But the entertainment value is there. But we'll see. I will see how this turns out. I wonder what angle they're going to go with. That's what I want to know. I want to know if it's really going to be like a Jinder Mahal, John Cena thing. Where do you think they go? Do you think that's what direction they go in? He comes
John
back.
Cena and Jinder Mahal?
Because I can see more. I can see more Rusev, Jinder Mahal. That's what I see.
You think it's going to be an America versus India thing?
Could be.
John Cena is the Hulk Hogan of the WWE. He is the one when you want somebody to represent good. When you have somebody who is as evil as can be, he is that representation.
What about Rusev?
Rusev versus Jinder Mahal? That's what I thought we were going to get in Money in the Bank, but then that just kind of faded away. So I'm not too sure.
Well, where do they go with Rusev?
I would like to see that.
Where do they go with Rusev?
We've already seen Rusev versus John Cena, so they really can't do that.
Yeah, that one's kind of that's been played out enough times. We can wait a little bit longer.
But you know what? I definitely do see them doing a Jinder Mahal and John Cena thing on the 4th of July episode that he returns. That seems like that's too easy. Come on now.
Predictable.
In fact, I'm going to tell you, John Cena is going to return, but I'm going to put this one out there. It's still a good month and a half away, but I'm going to put this out there. They're going to hype up, obviously, that John Cena is coming back. We all know he's coming back on SmackDown July the 4th, but you're not going to know when he's coming back. They'll say later on he's coming back, and then Jinder Mahal will be in the middle of a segment. That's when John Cena's coming back. That's when the music hits.
You think so?
That's what I'm thinking.
Predictable. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think he wins the title? I don't think he wins the title if he goes against Jinder Mahal.
Money in the Bank will have already taken place. Money in the Bank takes place at the end of June.
Yeah, but I think Jinder Mahal is going to keep the title. I don't think he's going to be a short reign.
You think Jinder Mahal is going to beat Randy Orton?
I do.
Again?
Yeah, I do. Because you got the Singh brothers. You can't count them out. He's got extra help. I don't think Jinder Mahal is going to, I mean, he's not going to beat Randy Orton clean. He's going to win. He's going to win the match with the Singh brothers helping him out. So